The palace thought they could quietly let it pass again. Another year, another controlled memory, another carefully managed silence around the woman they never quite contained. But this time, something slipped. Or maybe, someone broke the pattern. Because on what should have been just another muted anniversary of Princess Diana's 65th birthday, a 22-year-old royal barely on anyone's radar did something so unscripted, so unsettlingly real that it cracked open a question the monarchy has spent nearly 3 decades trying to keep sealed. Who actually owns Diana's memory? For years, July 1st followed a script so predictable, it almost felt rehearsed. A short statement, a recycled photograph. Maybe a quiet mention in a charity newsletter that most people never even saw. No spectacle, no emotion, just dignity-controlled, measured, distant, almost sterile. That was the point. Ever since 1997, the institution learned how to remember Diana without feeling her, and it worked. The world moved on. Or at least, that's what it looked like on the surface. But this year didn't follow the script. Not even close. Because while the palace machine prepared another low-key acknowledgement, something else was already in motion, something nobody in the press office flagged, nobody scheduled, nobody approved. And by the time the day ended, it wasn't the official statement people were talking about. It was her, quiet, almost invisible, until suddenly she wasn't. Lady Louise Windsor, 17 places away from the throne, raised to stay out of headlines, known more for muddy stables than royal drama, the kind of royal you're not supposed to notice. And yet, somehow, she became the center of the most emotionally charged royal moment in years, without saying a single word. That's what makes this feel different, almost suspiciously different. Because Louise wasn't supposed to be part of Diana's story. She never met her, never shared a room, never heard her voice, never felt her presence the way William and Harry did. There's no personal memory to hold on to, no childhood moment to revisit. And yet, she showed up, not publicly, not ceremonially, but quietly, intentionally alone, and that's where things start to feel uncomfortable. Because insiders notice something first, not what she did, but what she didn't do. She wasn't where she was supposed to be. A royal engagement at Windsor, low-key, routine, and she simply wasn't there. No drama, no announcement, just an absence. A gap in the schedule that, at first, meant nothing. Royals shuffle plans all the time. It happens. But this wasn't random. This was deliberate. She had already asked days in advance not to be booked after 2 p.m. No explanation, no context. Just a quiet request that, in hindsight, feels a lot less innocent. Because while the palace carried on as usual, Louise was somewhere else entirely, walking into a place heavy with memory, a place that doesn't belong to press releases or official statements. Kensington Gardens. The Diana Memorial Playground. A place built not just to remember Diana, but to feel her. And what happened next? No cameras were supposed to be there. No photographers waiting. No announcement to the media. Just a young woman walking in alone, blending into a crowd that didn't even realize who she was. No security spectacle. No royal aura. Just Louise. She stayed for nearly 40 minutes. 40? That's not a quick visit. That's not a symbolic drop-by. That's time, real time, sitting, watching, thinking, maybe even feeling something she wasn't expected to feel. And then came the detail that turned this from quiet gesture to something far more loaded. A handwritten card. Not a speech, not a statement approved by 3 advisors. A handwritten message left quietly among flowers, tucked into a space filled with public grief that never really disappeared. No name announced, no signature confirmed, just something personal, something private, in a place that has always belonged more to the public than to the institution. And, still the palace said nothing. That silence? It's loud. Because the most revealing moment didn't come from any official source. It came from ordinary people. A mother, a phone camera, a few seconds of footage that wasn't meant to mean anything until it did. Louise, crouched among the flowers, still focused, present, then standing up and walking away like nothing happened. Unnoticed, uncelebrated, uncontrolled, and that's exactly why it hit so hard. Because suddenly, without permission, without planning, without the palace shaping the narrative, Diana's memory felt real again. Not curated, not edited, just human. And maybe that's the part no one knows how to handle. Because if someone like Louise, someone raised to stay quiet, to stay distant, felt compelled to break that silence, what does that say about everyone else who didn't? And more importantly, what happens next, now that the silence has already been broken? And here's where the story stops being just a quiet tribute and starts feeling like something much bigger, something the palace can't easily smooth over or file away with a 3-line statement. Because the moment that video surfaced, those few seconds of Louise crouched beside the flowers, it changed the entire energy around Diana's 65th birthday. Not because it was dramatic, not because it was loud, but because it exposed a contrast so sharp, so uncomfortable, that people couldn't ignore it anymore. On one side, the monarchy doing what it always does, carefully worded, emotionally distant, controlled to the last syllable, and on the other side, a single unscripted act that somehow said more than 30 years of official remembrance combined. There's a reason royal commentator Robert Jobson called it the most human tribute the family has produced in years. Human, not royal, not official. Human, that distinction matters more than it seems, because Diana was never just a royal figure. She was emotional, unpredictable, sometimes messy, often controversial, but always undeniably real. And for decades, the institution has tried to preserve her memory in a way that removes exactly those elements. Clean, respectful, contained. But what Louise did, it wasn't contained. It echoed something far more dangerous to a system built on control. It echoed Diana herself. Showing up unannounced, refusing to make it a spectacle, choosing presence over performance. It's the kind of parallel that doesn't need to be explained, people feel it instantly. And that's exactly what makes it so powerful and so potentially disruptive. Because once the public starts seeing those parallels, the narrative begins to shift. Slowly at first, then all at once. Sources close to Prince William reportedly said he was moved when he heard what happened, and that reaction, in itself, is telling. Because if the future king feels something personal, something emotional, in response to an act that wasn't even meant to be seen, it raises the possibility that this wasn't just a moment of remembrance. It was a reminder. A quiet, almost accidental reminder of a version of Diana that the institution has struggled to fully embrace. And then there's the detail that hasn't gone unnoticed behind palace walls, the fact that Louise didn't seek attention, she didn't alert the media, she didn't even stay long enough to be recognized. The attention found her anyway, which means this wasn't strategy, it wasn't positioning, it was instinct. And instinct is unpredictable. For a family that has spent nearly 3 decades mastering predictability, that's where the real tension begins. Because you can manage headlines, you can control statements, but you can't control moments like this once they resonate. And they did resonate. Across social media, across tabloids, across quiet conversations between people who hadn't talked about Diana in years. Something shifted, not loudly, not explosively, but subtly, persistently, like a question that refuses to go away. What if the way Diana is remembered is about to change? Because here's the uncomfortable truth sitting right beneath the surface. Every year, the people who actually knew Diana become fewer, and the ones carrying her memory forward are further removed from her reality. And yet, somehow, it was the most distant one, Louise, who made that memory feel closest again. That irony? It's not just poetic, it's revealing. It suggests that maybe Diana's legacy was never meant to be controlled in the first place. That maybe the reason her memory still lingers so powerfully isn't because of official statues or carefully timed tributes, but because of moments like this. Unplanned, unfiltered, unapologetically real.